Hello, I'm Kat, and welcome to my video where I talk about what I've learned about practicing gratitude. So, practicing gratitude has become well known and quite popular in recent years as sort of a means of improving your mental health and kind of as a knock on effect, improving your physical health, or so says the internet. And I was kind of resistant to the idea initially, so I kind of dislike stuff like this. That's like affirmations, gratitude, sort of the fake it till you make it kind of stuff, and the sense of like performing a belief or emotion rather than genuinely feeling it. Plus, I also feel like I've lived quite a blessed life. I've always felt really lucky, and sort of like the universe has got its hand on my shoulder, steering me in the right direction. Um, yeah, even stuff which felt wrong and like a mistake or was a painful situation at the time always directly led to what I believe is the right path. Though who's to say I wouldn't have felt like that about any path I ended up on. Yeah, so I already have like the privilege of a great life, and I have a lot of sort of background level gratitude for that. So why foreground it? Like, are there any benefits to doing that? And so the answer is kind of I don't know. Um, I've definitely felt a mental health improvement over the last few years. You know, hiccups caused by unavoidable global situations like the pandemic, notwithstanding. Yeah, but I don't know if that's attributable to gratitude. I've made a lot of other changes around that same period as well. A lot of running, did a lot of exercise, more meditation and mindfulness. For a big part of that was on a vegan diet, even though I'm back to vegetarian now. Um, yeah, so there may well be other causes that have caused the improvement I believe I've seen in my personal mental health. Um, yeah, a gratitude practice may well be a puzzle piece in that, but I can't sort of draw a direct cause and effect line. So there are three main ways that I like to incorporate gratitude into my life in a conscious fashion. And the first one is that every day in my diary, I like to just write a one-liner of what I'm grateful for, however small that thing might be. And it's a short but sweet practice, uh, but the benefits are that it keeps me in a regular habit of looking back over my day and looking for something, just something to call out, not the only good thing, but the one I want to sort of make a note of and highlight. And also, of course, thinking about for that one thing helps me spot all the other things as well, so that's quite nice. And the other thing is that it kind of gives me like a lot of data points to work with if I'm doing this every single day, and yeah, so then I've got data points that I can look for patterns in. So, I what am I most often grateful for? What am I calling out every other day? Um, yeah, I've not done any bar graphs on this or anything, but having looked back over previous months or years of these one-liners, it does seem like the thing I'm most often grateful for is food. Some sort of nice piece of food that I particularly enjoyed that day. Uh, Sad to say, food is top of my list, even above Dan, who I think, that's my husband, who I think comes in a close second. Sort of something nice he's done or interactions with him is often something I'm calling out. And then after that, other big sort of areas that I tend to call out on a regular basis for gratitude, social interactions in general. I've definitely come to be appreciating those a lot more over the pandemic era, and they were perhaps something I was taking for granted before. And also, I often feel really good when I get a lot of stuff done on my to-do list, and I'm calling out that I'm grateful for that as well. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting to see these things and see like, yeah, these are the things that make me happy on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, it's commonplace things, but calling out my gratitude for them means that I'm not taking them for granted. And yeah, it helps me remember that there are bite-sized chunks of happiness and fulfillment that happen all day, every day. So another thing I like to do is to write letters to companies or to people, um, and expressing my gratitude for a product or service that has made my life better. And I do this as a handwritten letter because I've heard that handwriting something helps embed it in your mind more, a lot more than typing the exact same sentiments. And the other reason I do it as a letter is it's always kind of special and unexpected to receive a letter these days, that isn't a bill or junk mail. And yeah, so I always feel like for the recipient, there's perhaps a little more meaning to it than just getting that email. And I hope that the extra effort that I put to put a physical object in their hand underlines the sentiment of the content. And another benefit of the letter format is that, once you go into all that effort to a piece of paper and an envelope and all this and a stamp and it, sent through the mail, gotta make it worthwhile. So I can't really just, put a little like your product rocks. I'm grateful. That's it. I've got to push to find more to say. And this inspires me to look more deeply into the specific reasons for the joy that they've given me and to sort of to figure it out and spell it out for myself, while spelling it out for them. And I find that really inspecting the drivers of my gratitude is a great amplifier for that feeling of gratitude. And so I plan, like, my intention is to write these letters once a month. In practice, I write them somewhat more sporadically than that, mostly just when I'm particularly inspired. So and the third thing that I try to do on a regular basis, again aiming for monthly and not succeeding at monthlies. Yeah, so that third thing is that I like to express gratitude to my colleagues through our work's feedback mechanisms. Um, yeah, so we have a mechanism where you can feedback to a colleague and their manager about something they've done that you're thankful for or grateful for, or you think they did well. And we're often called upon to do this for our colleagues, for our peers, once a year. Um, but you can do it at any point in the year. Um, and yeah, so when the colleague does something that I'm particularly thankful for, I write it up and submit it through the process to them so that it's on the record and then it's useful to them and their manager for that end of year review. Because I know if I'm asked at the end of the year to give feedback on this person, um, yeah, I'm and I would struggle, I think, to remember and give that same feedback, peer feedback, months later. Uh, yeah, remembering the specifics, things fade. It's difficult. So I try and do it on an ongoing basis at the time, so that I can give detailed feedback and also to cement the specifics for me of an interaction or something that I was grateful for, and then I get my, gratitude points for that. So yeah, I mean, and perhaps I've been lucky because throughout my career, the various jobs I've had at various companies, the one consistent thing that has always been the case, whether the work is boring, stressful, fun, whatever, whether the company is good, bad, indifferent, for all that variety, the one consistent thing is I've always worked with good people. Um, yeah, and maybe one or two exceptions, but like serious exceptions, like infinitesimal amount of exceptions to that rule of always had good colleagues, nice people, interested, engaged with their work, pleasure to work with. And yeah, I feel like a lot of the quality of life of anyone's life derives from the people in that life. We are social animals, and for a lot of us, our work colleagues are our main social group, social circle for like 8 hours of the day, 5 days of the week, or you know, more or less. So yeah, like I feel like calling out my gratitude for individual acts by these people keeps me mindful of the greater trend of just being surrounded by really good people. So there we are. Those are the three areas where I am consciously trying to incorporate gratitude into my life. And actually, I'm really enjoying it, and I believe it benefits my mental health. And I guess the only friction that I feel with it now, especially in the latter two cases, is the question of who benefits. I mean, I'm not going to lie, my primary impetus for incorporating these very deliberate practices into my life is to benefit myself, my mindset, my mental health. And yeah, yes, there's, you know, a benefit to the folks that I express my gratitude to. You know, I hope they feel good about themselves or their company or their product or whatever I'm, you know, expressing to them. But that's secondary to me. I mean, yeah, close second, but still secondary. So I'm doing a nice thing for them, but I'm doing it for a selfish reason. Yeah, and according to the point system, that won't get me into the good place. So, fork. But yeah, on the other hand, actions are greater than intentions. You know, then it's the actions that make the effect in the world. So yeah, friction. But I think the main takeaway that I found is, you know, there's just so much to be grateful for in this world, and that I'm definitely going to continue to incorporate practices of gratitude in my life. And I'm grateful for having been able to share these thoughts with you in this video. So until next time, I hope you have a smashing day.